Okay, people, sidewalk philosopher here. Today I'm going to talk about fat people. Okay, well, with fat people you get all kinds of vibe. You get the fitness gurus who always think it's all about, being fit, and fat is evil for them. So you get those kinds of people. You also get the fat people who think that being fat doesn't matter at all, and that, there's nothing wrong with being fat. And they kind of use the argument that, I'm happy with myself, so who cares if I'm fat? And then you get me. Now, I know there's something wrong with being fat, but at the same time, it's good to be happy with yourself the way you are. So, it's good to be fit. It's definitely good to be fit. And the reason why is because when you're fit, when you're healthy, you can do things. You're more free. You're not restricted by bad cardio, or you get tired. You don't have this health problems. You don't get diabetes. These kinds of things. You're maximizing your potential. So it's good to be fit. So obviously there's something there. But then it's also good to be, okay with yourself on a deeper level. That doesn't depend on how you look, because you are more than your body. Your personality, your character, the kind of person you are, it's more important than the size of your gut. So like, if you're kind, a generous person, you're a good friend, people can trust you. You're not an asshole. You're a good guy, or a good girl. You're not one of those selfish, people that you just can't trust. And that's more important than being fit, because you're the kind of person who does good things. You help this guy out, you help that guy out. You do your best, and it helps everybody. But if you're good, you're generous, you're a kind person, and you're fit, there's obviously something better than if you were fat and you got something wrong with you because you're fat and you got health problems. I mean, your kindness is going to be limited more than it would be otherwise. And then on the other side, even if you're fit, I don't care how nice your muscles are. I don't care if you look like Arnold or if you look like, whatever you want to look like. If you're a jackass, you're a jackass. Even if you're super strong, it doesn't mean squat if you're not willing to do anything good anyway. You're wasting your fitness. You know what I mean? So you need both. There's an order of priorities here. It's better to be a good person than it is to be a fit or a strong person, because what you do with your fitness, it depends on what kind of person you are. So obviously, they're both good arguments. It's good to be fit, but at the same time, it's better to be a good person. But I think you should be both. Okay, so there are two kind of special cases here about fat people, because there's some people who look fat but they're not really fat, because some people, they, like, I don't know if you know anything about Fedor Emelianenko, but he is a professional athlete, but he looks tubby. He's fat, but he's not. He looks fat, but it's not really fat because it's not getting in his way. It's not making him a less able fighter. He can still do what he does, and it's kind of natural. It's kind of like he's in good shape. He has good cardio. There's a certain scale that depends on you. So, when is it bad to be fat? It depends on each person, but at the same time, it's always better to be fit according to that scale than it is to be, off that scale. And when it's bad if your body is getting in the way of what is a good thing to do. You can't do it anymore because you're fat. That's when it's bad. The other special case, there's two of them. The other special case is when you're, you get fat because of some disease or some genetic problem. It's not your fault, and you get fat, and you know it's bad because you can't do the things you want to do, the things you used to do. So, is being fat bad? Yes, being fat is bad, but it's not always bad. There are a number of different times when it's bad. Number one, being fat is bad if you made yourself fat. If you're a lazy, getting soft kind of guy, that's when it's bad, because you made yourself fat. When else is it bad? It's also bad when it takes something away from you. When it makes you less you, So, you used to ski all the time, but now you're too fat to ski. Well, that's a problem. So those are both when it's bad. Now, the special case where it's not your fault that you're fat, but it's taking away from, who you are. You can't, be who you were before. That's also bad, but at the same time, it doesn't mean you're bad. It's not the same as if you're just a lazy, beer-drinking, fat guy who doesn't care and, doesn't take care of himself. That means that you're fat, so it's bad, and it also means that you're lazy. You're a bad, person to a small degree. It's not really that big a deal, but at the same time, it can become a big deal. So, if it's the special case where it's not your fault, just do your best. You can't take care of everything. You can't make yourself well all the time. But do your best. Maybe you'll get over it, and your doctor will help you out. But be willing to make changes if suddenly you start getting fat or you get injured. The same thing with if you get injured or you get in a car accident or something, you lose a limb. Just do your best and don't worry. It's not your fault. I mean, it's obvious there's something bad happened, but you can be a better person for it. So, so being fat is bad if you made yourself fat. It's also bad if it takes away from you being you. But for all the fat people out there, sometimes it's okay to be fat if you didn't make yourself fat. But most of us have made ourselves fat. Okay, so do P90X or check out Scooby. There's a link right here. Because, it takes away from your life. Not just like, oh, I'm not going to live to be 100. But it takes away from your everyday life. It takes away right now. You're afraid to do this with your kids or with your friends because you're fat. You're afraid to take your shirt off. It makes you afraid. It makes you less of a man, less of a woman. If you let yourself get fat and you made yourself that way. So get on the ball. Go for it. It'll make your life better. But remember what's most important. If you didn't, it's not your fault. Don't worry about it. Just do your best. So, hope you guys, learned something. Hope it made sense. Peace out, and I'll see you again. Adios.